And he found out the greatest tool, the greatest weapon that witchcraft has is fear. And so we have put together from his speaking a proclamation of what you proclaim every day, and fear will have no place in your life. And it'll be a free download, and we'll tell you about it a little later in this broadcast. But let's go to TracyCooke and the words he said before they happened.
Now, God's going to deal with the landscape of the church in 2020. He's going to begin to unravel the grounds that you walk on, and you're going to start seeing everything that can be shaken will be shaken in the next 4 months, even in 2020. But I encourage you as a prophetic voice also that remember, He's going to expedite your prophecies, your visions, your dreams, your desires. You're going to step out the carnal realm. You're going to step into the spiritual realm. You're going to come out of that place of defeat into victory. You're going to start seeing nature preach or nature prophesy. That simply means that there are going to be broken records of weather patterns. You're going to see God bring you out of a place of defeat or loaded bar depression to a place of victory. 2020 is a time. 2020 is not perfect vision. Perfect vision is 2010. 2020 means the hindsight. In other words, blind spots that you've not been able to see, God's going to let you see it clear. He's going to bring clarification in your life. And unanswered prayers, He's going to answer them in 2020. It's going to be the suddenlies of God. And remember, everything that can be shaken within these next 4 months, you're going to start seeing that. And when you start seeing these certain weather patterns, record-breaking nature, you're going to preach and prophesy. That means He's bringing awareness that we got to get our eyes back on Him. He allows certain things to take place to get our attention.
God has revealed to you, and look, no one knows what He's about ready to say except God Himself. I'm so glad that you're watching this show, has revealed the source of the coronavirus and the politicians involved. I mean, this is phenomenal. Tell us some of the things God has shown you.
I just got back from being in Honduras with Apostle Maldonado, and in that time of doing a crusade there, God gave me a dream, and He set me in the dream in China. Now, I'm aware of, I must say, not everything, but in this dream, God took me to a laboratory room, a lab room, and I saw the virus being created. I saw how it's coming through.
I've heard rumors about this, but you actually saw it being created.
The nation of China, and I was taken to this lab room with scientists and everything, and I saw behind closed doors was Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party. They said we could not impeach Trump. And I shared some of this in January that when I was here.
But some haven't heard that.
Some have not heard it. Because God gave me a dream that they were going to try to impeach him, but the impeachment would fall. Then they would try to, they needed leverage. And then in my dream in China, because God deals with me more like He did with Daniel in dreams. And He shows me prophetic stages to what's happening in the world.
Hello, Sid Roth, and I'm here with TracyCooke. And Tracy has some amazing things to say about what's going on in China, other nations, the United States, the next election. But he sees things that the news only wishes they could see. He sees them actually happening. It sort of reminds me of the prophet, the king that said, or this prophet of Israel knows what I'm doing in my bedroom. Literally, I think that TracyCooke knows what is going on in the bedroom of a lot of politicians. Tracy, how excited were you, not that it happened, but that your word was so verified on these two instances I just showed?
Well, it's just a humble experience and awesome to see what God is doing, how that God's able to, with you, to have a platform to be able to touch the world and tell America and third world countries around what God is saying before the event happened. And then when it unfolds like it is now, especially with China, you can look back and say, right, it's a responsibility, a great accountability, a humble experience by all means. But then it becomes a privilege because you can help people to get to their destiny and their purpose and their play. I've just counted honor, to be honest with you, Sid. It really is. But to see it unfold now, it's just incredible.
Well, one of the things I happen to like about you, you're a prophet that understands humility. And not many prophets are in that category. Of course, between you and me and our mishpacha, that's a Hebrew word that means family, there are not many prophets that are as accurate. And you and I both know that. Now, you talked about 4 months of shaking.
Yes, sir.
We've talked about the timeline, not from current events, but from God himself. I don't want your speculation. What is your best timeline? Well, I thought it was amazing that the president got on the right after Resurrection Sunday, the end of Passover, and said, we have a 4-point plan to open up the states.
Yes, sir.
That was supernatural.
Supernatural. It really was. Everything, it just like everything that the Lord said previously on your show, the first 4 months would be shaken. Then at Passover, we would see a major significant shift. And then we start seeing the president make an announcement to 4-point schedule, plan to open up again. And now we're in that process where finally, it's like David in 1 Samuel chapter 30, we're coming to the season of recovering all. And, even though there's things that we see in part, we prophesy in part, but now we're entering into a place, and thank God, we can begin to mobilize and move in our country and our nation and start taking back everything that the enemy had tried to slide in and steal and take from us as a people, as God's people. But it's going to be an awesome time of recovery. It really is.
Well, you obviously saw the clip we used. Is there anything more you can tell us about the lab and what occurred in reference to that?
Well, in China, I'm just going to go back and just reiterate just a few more of the points because everything is in that sequence of that dream. And in that dream, of course, I've shared it, and I'll just reiterate some of those points, and then I'll share something else about it. In China, I walked through the lab. We saw the scientists, saw them creating, undermining the nation, especially the United States.
Excuse me. Do you know if this was intentional or an accident? I hear both views. Has God shown you?
No, it was not 110%. 110% was not accidental. It was planned. It was plot. I had the 2-hour dream in Honduras, and I saw step by step how this is counteracting against the Republican Party with Trump. How it's going to. I know we're going to talk about this in this segment too. But in this, where I saw this, then China want to take another reverse turn because the heat's turned up on them now. And that was part of the prophecy that's coming to pass, is out now, being investigated and exposed. But a lot of this that's in the United States and those that are in around the circle in the United States are going to be found guilty for working with China. And that was a part of the dream, the vision I had with China. But I saw where China is going to go for this time, even in the next 2 years. China is in a place where God's hands, and I've shared this several months back, what have you, that God's hand is against China and judgment and falling from God, because God's people, the remnant, it's time for the remnant to take back territory. And no matter what nation it is, it's God's people that are favored because they engrafted to the fig nation of Israel. So China itself, when I was in this dream, I saw these scientists and whatnot, and I heard the Democratic Party. Then I heard the top leaders of China saying, we're going to plot, plan, and we're going to, it's almost like they thought they were being so deceitful they can cover all this up, but it's coming out the big chambers of the prophet's chamber, and now it's been exposed. And we're really going to start seeing even more being exposed with China in the next several months as well. It's just not just what has occurred. more is going to unravel, but we're going to start seeing a lot of connections with different countries and United States that was involved, that were trying to undermine Trump. And we're going to start seeing this even more.
Well, you know, a lot of people misunderstand the gift of prophecy. And they heard you say on my show that I can't tell all that I saw.